Yes. The answer is yes. All right, in the video. Yeah, right. So, let's go. Is military service worth it? Short answer is yes, at least in my humble opinion. Long answer, well, that's what this video is for. So, I strongly believe enlisting is worth it. I have myself enlisted right out of high school in June 2019. I ETS'd October 2024, and I re-enlisted into the Air National Guard just recently, and I got some stuff to do for them as well. Yeah, I hold God out and switch sides, and the intensity of it. It's actually pretty great. I love it here. Anyway, I've been to a lot of incredible places in my active duty Army days, and I've had a pretty squeaky clean record so far. So, what are the pros of enlisting? Well, it gets you out into the world. I'm from Wisconsin, up here in the north, and the first place I went to basic was Missouri, which didn't feel all that different from Wisconsin, but it was hot. Damn hot. Real hot. I can't even remember that Good Morning Vietnam quote, but it was really hot. It was humid, possible tornadoes in that little area of America, and it was kind of cool, actually, being somewhere different for a couple months. And then after that, I went to AIT and found myself in Oklahoma for another couple months. It was great. Checked some stuff out there. I learned how bipolar the weather is in Oklahoma and how it never stops blowing wind everywhere. No matter how hot or cold it is outside, it never stops. It's crazy. So, other than getting you out in the world, you get to learn a lot of marketable skills that are kind of essential in today's world, such as leadership, teamwork, attention to detail, professionalism, and hygiene. You would be surprised at how many people I found out in the civilian world who don't know how to properly clean themselves. A lot of companies, corporate loves to see a lot of soft skills that the military provides each and every one of their service members, whether you're in the Marines, you're in the Army, you're in the Air Force, Navy, Coasties, Space Force. It's all the same in the end, right? You learn how to shave, you keep your hair, no matter if you're a man or a woman, you keep your hair perfect, you clean your clothes, you don't show up to work disgusting, you work with what you got. It's pretty simple. Moving on though, you also get to maintain your physical and mental fitness. A big thing about every base that I've been to, every airfield, every station, there's a free gym at every single one of them. And more often than not, there's a sauna. Oh my God. A sauna in every gym, and it was absolutely free. These aren't just like small little like hole in the wall gyms either that you're used to living in your downtown area. These are massive facilities, right? You got whole sections dedicated to gym, like a gymnasium. You got a whole section dedicated to weight training, and you got a whole section dedicated to straight up cardio. Let's Get Physical has nothing on what the Army provides. I'm pretty sure it's just as great in the Marine area as well, but I wouldn't know. I'm not a Marine. The only thing I know of being a Marine is, well, you take long vacations via ship over to Okinawa for a couple months, and you come right back to the States. Anyway, but other than that, maintaining physical and mental fitness is essential in military service, and due to that, a lot of the healthcare is provided through each branch by each branch. Like if you're in the Army, you go to an Army hospital. If you're in the Air Force, you go to doc. You talk to your corpsman if you're a Marine, and if you're in the Navy, well, beats me. I don't know that much about the Navy. Anyway, and you have to be mentally tough to do all this service work, which brings a great segue into the cons. What's so bad about military service? If I've been, sitting here glazing it for the past 6 minutes, well, the low retention rate. More often than not, I find people leaving to be out of at least in the Army, I found more people getting out of the Army instead of being sent to another duty station. Due to that low retention rate, it's very hard to maintain steady relationships with other service members, friendships. There's one thing that I've learned is never date your coworkers. Anyway, and the poor work-life balance as well. When I was stationed in Korea, I would spend more than 12 hours a day working at times. It was not fun. I went to go see Seoul once. It was great. I loved it. I love to see Seoul. I love the country of Korea. I love the people. Their food is fantastic. I'm not really too sure about seeing the 14 Starbucks on one city street though, but trying to fit the entire population of America into somewhere the size of Indiana is not easy. And it could be somewhat stressful, which is another segue into another con, the high stress environments. Some people just don't care about you, and they just want this one thing done. They could care less about your well-being, about your health, and about your family problems, your personal problems, and of course the possibility of mortality, which I suppose if you really want to go the extreme routes of everything, there's always a chance that every time you get into your car, you have a chance of suffering a fatal accident. Every time you go to your factory, there's always a time for something to go very wrong, and suddenly you have a bolt flying at your face at Mach fuck. Stuff happens, but that's just me being nitpicky. And not to mention, sometimes field exercises could be a bit much, except for me. I loved field problems. I could do it again. I could do it for days at a time. So, with all these cons and all these pros, what are you supposed to do with all these? Well, I will remind you that every branch is different, right? I've gotten a lot more respect in the Air Force than I did while I was in the Army. I've gotten a lot more time off now that I'm in the National Guard to be with family than I was active duty. But that's easy for me to do, considering how when I was active, I was several hundred miles away from my family at all times, sometimes even across the world. And the cultures of each unit are severely different from the next. I mean, even in your sister battalions and batteries, it's such a different. It's all due to leadership too, because they have different philosophies on how they want to run their Joes, and well, you're the Joe. I suppose another thing to understand is to remind yourself while you're going through all this is that the goal is always the same. No matter who you are, no matter what you're doing, how severe or diet, Coke, gluten-free your job is, your goal is always to protect the American way of life and be a guardian of freedom, no matter what you're doing. You could be out there, you could be right here. But as soon as you say that oath, as soon as you swear in, put your hand up, say the funny words, sign that paper, your main goal is the defense of the American people and the American way of life, which is a very powerful thing to stand behind. But that's just my 2 cents into it. I suppose 50 in some cases. Anyway, take care, everyone. It's getting kind of crazy out there.